Welcome to the channel. Now here's the fun version of the intro. Okay, so I'll be putting the first part of the intro in the comments, in the description somewhere. But this is gonna be the fun video. So I'll be presenting these drawings I was, as if when I was the age I was when I drew them. Then I will disclose that these will be all redrawn in their episode. So how this will work is that I'm going to show off all of the drawings in this video, so it's going to be pretty long. And then after that, every other episode is about to be the backstory of each individual drawing as I redraw to make their designs look a bit more presentable. As my art style has not changed too much, but I learned what detail was. And that's really it. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to get straight into it now. All right. You saw that piece a lot already. Throw it over there for now. So this right here is supposed to be, he is inspired by fire, by if anyone knows Spider-Man lore, he's supposed to play the role of the first Spider-Man. To play the role in this lore that the first Spider-Man would play. And he's inspired by a phoenix a phoenix mixed with a tiger, giving the power together to a human. That's what this is based off of. This one, I can turn it around now. This one is based off of a jester, actually. Funny enough. A jester with a robotic arm. As for this one is based off of animal, the wild mutt. This is supposed to give off wild mutt vibes, from Ben 10. That's what this is based off of. This is based off of a knight, really. He doesn't really have any significant inspiration. It's just a knight for him. This one is based off of not specifically Dracula, but that's what the idea I want to put into him in this redraw is. But he is based off a vampire-esque creature with nobility. That's what he's based off of. This is just a generic ninja, actually. I want to make him more stronger looking and more proportional if I can, but not too proportional. This one, I believe, is based off of a hero. Yes, he's based off of a hero if he survived the Gorgonization of Medusa. That's where the eyes and teeth come from. Actually, now I think about it, I might actually, for him, the one before this one, I actually might make him, since it is the year of the snake, I believe, I might actually make him have the bottom of a snake. This is just a cat man. I love cats. This is why he's here. I might make him more beast looking and take away the hair and some of the like make him like massively just fur mostly. I'm thinking of doing that. He's a shapeshifter. I want to add more color to him with his for his redraw, but I don't know what colors complement black, so I'm gonna have to experiment before I get to him. He is based off of a samurai. Just missing the hat. I'm giving him the hat, but he's keeping the sword. That sword. I'm gonna change the shoulder pad too to make it look more like a shoulder pad and make him more samurai looking. But he is a samurai. And before I get to this one, I'll state this. Most of, well, I'll say that, talk about this later, but elaborate on this later, but most of these are based off of, um, are based off of back when the only heroes in the anime of GX was the elemental heroes and the evil heroes and the destiny heroes. That's where these are where the inspiration for each type of where their designs come into play, like where the X's are and what their faces look like. So this right here is just a fist of someone that can shoot plasma from his hands. So he's just another hero type with like a superpower, like a Superman of sort. I believe he is the sleep hero. You see, he like his the environments this dude sleeps in is like severe cold because he's not because he can't freeze because he you can't freeze because the ice doesn't like the cold elements don't bother him. It's more like he does that to make his body go into constant rest. But if he was woken up forcefully, he gets very angry, which is where the yellow teeth come in. I wanted to add that homeless vibe to him, like someone who hasn't brushed their teeth in a while, but is they still stay pristine. So that's why he has pristine, sharp teeth with yellowness to them. Hex Hero King. It looks just like it states. He's a king. Has a giant Buster sword to match his gold gloves. His lore has a lot to do with Shapeshifter because I believe he was the cursed hero. This is what happens to a certain character in lore. That this is what happens to Jester when he was possessed by Shapeshifter. But then I eventually just said I wanted to make him a whole different character, so changed his whole lore to, he's just a hero that was got cursed by some darkness, but still has justice in his heart, something like that. One of my favorite designs. I might not change him up too much, just change a few things with his redraw. But he's going his this one is X Hero Shelly. And I'm pretty sure his the way he's drawing just says what he's based off of. He's based off of a tortoise with a lot of shells on his body, and he actually can turn into a shield. Like all of his limbs can go into his shell, and he can become a massive shield for everyone behind him. That's what makes him a hero. He's not an offensive hero, he's more like a defensive hero. And then we have Heart. What this is like this his name is literally Heart. His whole thing is Heart, but his actual name is Lockhart. He's based off of like boy bands. Like I drew him around a time where when like mindless behavior and like I One Direction and people and boy bands like that were running around and everybody loved them. So I was wanted to make a hero based off that, but with that cool street look to him. And I'm going to keep that street look to him with his redraw. I just because I don't want to deviate too much from what these characters really are, but I do want to make them look better. Because I am not a fan of the proportions I used back then. Really am not. He is based off of the Pied Piper and Flash from. I don't want to get it wrong. I read comics. I know which one he come from. DC. The Pied Piper from the Pied Piper story and Flash. That's what he's based off of. Let me see. Circus ringleader, which just like King, he kind of gives off the vibe I was trying to do when I drew him. He is a circus ringleader. I was trying to give it, and he's also semi shown to have the influences of the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland stories with a more demonic staff and maybe the flower like object on his coat. This one is a sea beast. Very just like King as well, very self-explanatory. Is a just a sea beast, nothing really different. Specifically based off of the swamp monster or the Loch Ness. This is the other ninja, but but given the king privilege, because he's close to King ex hero King, more like his bodyguard in the story of these heroes. So he was given some gold. So he has actually more defense, but less offense. Because he's more of about defending than attacking if all possible, whenever he can. Speaking of the Medusa of this story, this is the Medusa of this story. But he's a dragon. And I forget his name from Lord of the Rings, but that big eye on hit over this snake creature's head with mouths for eyes on his actual face is based off that character mixed with Medusa and given my own spin. He's just he's a cyborg. That's what he's based off of. He's based off of just a generic cyborg. He really doesn't, this one honestly doesn't have a big influence. He's just a very meant to be handsome looking cyborg type deal. Then we have one of the main character, one of the two main characters in this of what how these X heroes came to be, which is this dude right here. And he has a evil form. This is his evil form. When he loses all control due to a thing that happens to him in his story, he just becomes this creature type human thing that wants to take over the world. But not take it over, it's more like he just wants to transform everything into his vision. But he doesn't really want to destroy all of humanity, but to make them into his image. We're getting we're getting into like when I started giving them forms around like later down the line, like changes. This one is half beast. This one is the son, believe it or not, of that Medusa creature and strange genetics. And he was changed genetics tampered with by a scientist. But when he gives into his urges, he becomes this thing. Honestly, I don't think these two need a major change. Just a good redraw and maybe some angle changes would do great for these two. Ice King. Now this one is based off of something that is Adventure Time, actually. I really loved Ice King in Adventure Time, down to the degree that I made him into one of the X heroes, but in my image. And he's a rival / companion that travels with that main character I mentioned. So he also got corrupted a bit. Same goes for the Beast. Most of these characters are good gone bad, and he's one of those cases. And the one that corrupts them is this thing, the Dragon King. The equal to the X-Hero King and X-Hero God, which we'll see around the end of this stack of drawings. And the version that he can also corrupt himself temporarily to become this for a short time. His actual true form is this thing as well. Mech Knight, which is this was a creation created by that dragon over there to basically keep his tomb guarded. Because that dragon wasn't always a dragon, it was a human before. It was a hyper genius, and actually the creature that created the half beast was a human genius scientist that injected himself with dragon genes and lost his whole state of being into a whole new person. And this was the form he gave him to get stronger. I don't know why I made him slender. I might fix that in their redraws though. You see, I'm throwing like a few hints at what these backstories are, but honestly, like that I'm not even cutting the surface of what these stories have in store for. I have in store for you for these stories. Some of these don't have stories, but I'm trying to tag some of them into the lore because I want them to be linked somehow. Then we have Cyclops. Just a born. This is the genetic child of that dragon. I might change his skin color and stuff to match him more better. But because the only thing that really matches the dragon is that big flaming fist. I've been thinking of changing this lore to like something like he slayed the dragon. He would be the one that took the dragon down finally and used his hide and his head as weapons afterward and took his horns and attached and used it to empower him. Used them to empower him. Something like that. And that actually would make more sense for his redraw, because, like, just look at it. It's pretty good. I gotta say it. Then we have just a cool dude just chilling. He's also a hero, but he's one of the 3 heroes that just are generic heroes that got a redesign when I was like later down the line, which still doesn't look good to me. I really wish I knew how to do angles, and I'm sorry for how these look. It's just my new phone. These new phones have this weird camera where it gets down to the last detail. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I can see why they did that. And then we have Buzzdrill. He's a cyborg, but for the evil. What if we were talking Yu-Gi-Oh terms, the evil heroes? But for me, he's more like a made of construction machines, but empowered by a battery that's stuck in his chest. This is his upgraded form right here. And this is a ex-rock star turned into a nobody. But his redraw is actually his previous rock star career, when he had a rock star career, and his guitar. I want to learn how to draw instruments, so this is a perfectly good exercise for me, redrawing him. And sadly, this is why I said I might expand the lore after I finish. This is the only female of the group. I didn't know how to draw bodies, so everyone had the same body shape. But she's the only female of the group, and she's like the evil, one of the final bosses that that heroes have to face off against. Cause this is the wife of the dragon character. And she's the embodiment of death itself. I'm pretty sure I'm going to really enjoy redesigning this one. This is her redesign. And this is why I said I really want to redesign her in her redesign. Because in my opinion, I feel like this to this don't make sense. And I really want to change that. And this right here is... So I'll actually have to use both of these pictures to explain this. I'll say his lore now because he's going to be very important. If you made it to the end to see this, thank you for watching to the end. But he is the ex-hero god. He's machine, he's part animal, he's part everything. And he has the power of all the different color X's in this series. Because each X actually has a different power. This one is light. This one is nature. That's fire. That one is water. That one is poison. That is fire. That right there is actually it's like all the other subcategories. That is earth. That is dark. And that is magic. The subcategory one right here is actually just subcategory. It can become any one of the other ones if it chooses to do so. And now I can get to this one. His kid form. In his lore, when he's reborn, he becomes this kid right here with only with the power of the orange X's, which is the subcategory. So he has a potential to have all of the different ones. And then this is his awakened form that he can go into for a short time during this age and time. And this is his actual self in the current timeline of the story. Now, let me get these in the thing right here so that I can show you the actual thing. This is where I'm going to put down all the details. Like again, if you made it to the end, watched it all the way through, listen to me talk, I love you for it. I'm happy that we made that happen. You did that for me. But this right here, I've already redrawn this character to show you an example of what these redraws gonna look like to get your interest in the story. So the redraw is going to be basically I'm keeping the concept of the elemental slash evil hero concept with a little bit of my own twist to it, but the one thing is, I said, why don't I bring in X-Saber monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Toon World aesthetic, so I can get away with the cartooniness of these drawings. So I did that. So they're gonna have a Toon World art style, and they're all gonna have some type of weapon, either magical or physical, attached to them. So this dude, I did this redraw 3 days ago. And this is his redraw. I love this redraw so much. Yeah, his arms are proportionate, but at this point, I've gone away with trying to be proportionate with my drawings. So we got this to this, this to this. And I hope this entices you to want to continue watching the series. And every redraw I'm doing will be posted up on my Instagram, specifically my art Instagram page. If you're interested in seeing these drawings early before I post a video about them, and I've counted, there's 35 drawings, meaning there's so much content coming your way with this series. Might even be more. Or if it is, I might move on to another series of drawings. But I'll leave that all up to you to want to see and hear me speak, unless you had enough of me. But with that, I gotta say, like, comment, or subscribe if you like the video. But it will be real tight. Enjoy life. And have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye-bye.